Good evening, everybody. I hope you're all keeping well. We are back again with another live show. It is the preview for the game on Sunday, away to Arsenal at the Emirates Stadium, 4:30 kickoff. We are back in Premier League action. Last away game of the season, second last game of the season to go. It's just going to be a big game on Sunday for both of us. Mason will be here when he's just on his way home from work, but we are delighted to be joined by Rich tonight from the Over and Over Arsenal channel. How are you doing, Rich? Been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah, it's good to be back. Good to see you again. Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, obviously a bit disappointed with how our season's kind of panned out in the end, but could be worse. I suppose it could be worse.
That's true. Yeah, absolutely. Well, you know what to do, guys. If you enjoy the show tonight, please do remember to give us the thumbs up. It's really important we get the likes so people know where to find us in the search results. So do smash those likes. If you enjoy the show tonight, please, of course, if you're brand new at the channel, if you're not yet subscribed and your job goes on the channel week in, week out, please hit that subscribe button. Free to do so. It does help make the channel grow. And please do, of course, hit that bell notification. It does let you know whenever a live show takes place or a pre-recorded video gets uploaded as well. So please do hit the bell to keep all up to date with the content that you do not want to miss at all. And if you want to give a donation, feel free. And if you want to become a member, it's 99p. Hit the join button to become a member and you'll be included in the prize draw we do as well. Only the one come in from Monty first, and hope you're keeping well as well. So let's get into it. Big game on Sunday for both teams. Second place up for grabs as well. I mean, how can you see this one going on Sunday, Rich?
I mean, I think it depends on our whole mindset. I mean, since we lost the semi-final, we've maybe gone off the boil slightly. I mean, the first half against Liverpool was really poor, and although we turned it around a bit in the second half, I don't know, I'm feeling a little bit underwhelmed by everything at the minute. And I think that the team seem to have been struggling with getting up for the league games. We lost to Bournemouth in between the two semi-final legs at home. Our last home game it was. We drew our home game before that against Brentford. So, we're not in great league form. We've been stuck at second place for ages and ages. It looked like we were nailed on to finish second. And now suddenly we've dropped lots of points. People are closing the gap. You guys are the main threat now, obviously. And, Man City aren't too far away either. So, it's going to be a tense day for Arsenal, and I think it's going to come down to a lot of it's going to be how we approach the game. Have we got the right mindset to get ourselves back up for the game on Sunday? Because are the players as bothered about finishing second or finishing third? Is that really important to them now, or are they just going to? And of course, the other problem is as well, we've played you 3 times and we've lost 3 times and we've not even scored a goal. So. And I don't think in history, I don't know for certain, but off the top of my head, I can't think that we've lost 4 times to one club in the same season before, ever.
Wow.
And probably without, if we don't score on Sunday and lose, without even scoring a goal in any of the 4 games, I think that would be a record, actually. And it's a record, obviously, we don't want. But, I'm not overly confident that won't happen.
Yeah. Well, as I mentioned, it is a big game for both of us. We want to try and chase that second place as well after coming off the back of winning the Carabao Cup as well. Be great if could we finish runners up. Well, we shall wait and see. Andrew, good evening with his usual 7-0 wins. Good evening, Wacky. Hope you're keeping well. Michael, good evening. Hope you're keeping well. David, good evening. The battle for second place is soon upon us. Lee, good evening. Hope you're keeping well as well. It also been hit with a bit of injuries, haven't they, as well? I mean, of course, you've lost Gabriel for the season. Same with Jesus. Do you think the injuries have technically cost you maybe a little bit, which is of just missing the title and possibly going all the way to the final in the Champions League as well?
I mean, obviously the injuries have had an impact. It's difficult to know exactly because we don't know the results we would have had those players not been injured when they got injured. It's impossible to say. I mean, The only thing I would kind of say is that we didn't have 4 or 5 key players all out at the same time. We've lost 4 or 5 key players, but at different points in the season. We had Ødegaard out earlier in the season. Saka was out later on. Havertz has been out recently. Obviously, we've had Gabriel missing for the last important part of the season. That could have been the one, actually, because not only has his defensive qualities, but the threat he is at set pieces at the other end. And who knows, had he been fit, he's the one that I think in this latter part of the season, everybody else has pretty much got back to being fit again, and we've lost Gabriel, and that might have been the one that made the difference. But we'll never know. I think Kyrgios's come in and actually done a pretty decent job considering he hadn't played the season. But he doesn't offer the same threat from set pieces. He's not as strong defensively from set pieces. We've conceded some poor goals in that time as well. So I don't know. I don't want to blame injuries because I don't think we can blame injuries because I say key injuries have been at different times. We've not had loads of players out all at the same time. We know that the problem with a striker or lack of a striker, and this has been a problem for a couple of seasons anyway. And obviously when you've got your player you're playing up front in Kai Havertz, he got injured at a crucial point of the season as well. But he shouldn't have been playing as a striker anyway. We should have had a proper striker doing that position, and things would have been different potentially for that. So I don't know. The injuries have had an impact, of course they have. And I would like to think if we'd had everybody fit over the last 2 months, would we now be in a position where we might have been still in the title race? We might be in the Champions League final. We'll never know. You like to think that would be the case, but it's the season's what it is. Everyone has injuries. You have to try and cope with them as best you can. And we haven't maybe coped with our players out as good as we could have done. And obviously, as a result of that, we're going to end the season empty-handed again.
Pete, good evening up you well. Lawrence, good evening. Chippers is in the chat as well. Ruffy, good evening. Coffee, good evening. Ian, good evening. Ronald, good evening. I know Rich loves Arteta. Let's your thoughts on Arteta, Rich, because I've particularly seen your post. You've been absolutely very critical of the guy.
I can't see now after 5.5 years that he's been in charge and all the times where we've been in good positions in different competitions and we've never been able to get anything over the line. You've got to question the manager. You've got to question what else, yes, okay, maybe some of the players as well aren't quite up to the job, I think, as well. But ultimately, he's brought these players in. He shapes the team. And I just feel as though, we saw recently, we were desperate for a goal against PSG when we were losing. And we've got an attacking player on the bench, young Ethan Nwaneri, who's scored 10 goals this season. He brought him on in the first leg, 90 minutes. And he didn't even bring him on at all in the second leg. And things like that make me think, I would rather, and it's the PSG game in particular was the final straw for me, the home leg when we lost, we were losing 1-0 after a few minutes. 10 minutes to go, he's making defensive changes because he didn't want to lose 2-0. He was too frightened of trying to get a 1-1 draw, risking losing 2-0. I would rather lose 2-0, going for it in the last 10 minutes, piling on the pressure, having chance after chance, throwing attackers on to try and get a result. I would rather than concede a goal on a counter-attack and you think, well, fair enough, that can happen. It's a risk worth taking for me. He won't do it. He won't take risks. And it happened the same in the semi-final against you guys. We needed goals. He didn't make attacking changes until too late in the game. There was one in the second leg he was forced to make in the first half because of an injury. But, and I don't know. I just don't think his in-game management is great. I think his tactically, he's too inflexible. He doesn't change to suit the game situation or even the opposition. He plays the same way all the time. And if it works, we're brilliant. If it comes off, we can go and beat anybody. We've seen in the Champions League some of those great results we had. Real Madrid game, for example, others as well, 7-1 against Sporting Lisbon and stuff like that. So when it works, it's brilliant. My issue is when it doesn't work, we can't come back and turn things around. I know we came back from 2 down against Liverpool, people will say, but that wasn't really a tactical thing. It was more about he just obviously G'd them up at half time after a very flat first half. But I don't know. I just feel as though after this amount of time and the money he spent, he's built his own team and he still can't get anything over. We can't even win a Carabao Cup. We can't win anything. Crystal Palace are in the FA Cup final, and we can't even get to a cup final, let alone winning anything. We haven't even got to a cup final. You know what I mean? In all that time, and we've had all them opportunities. We've lost 2 semi-finals of the League Cup now this season, and we lost to Liverpool 2 or 3 seasons ago in the semi-final. We've lost a semi-final of a Europa League. We've lost a semi-final of a Champions League. We've come second in the league 2 seasons in a row, maybe 3. We'll see on Sunday. But we're getting close. But he can't get us over the line. And to me now, after all this amount of time, we've got to start thinking of, well, maybe someone else needs that opportunity. We've got the basis of a good team there. We've got some great players. do we need someone else who can come in, be a little bit more flexible with tactics and stuff, and maybe manage the squad better? Because what he's done is he picks the same 11 every week, pretty much, if they're fit, and the squad players don't get used. So when they are needed, they're not ready because they've not played. And then they make mistakes, and then he doesn't trust them again, so they don't play for months. You know, Kyrgios had to come in, and he had a bit of a shaky start, and he's got better as he's played more games. And that's what you need. You need to manage your squad better. And I don't know, there's lots of issues, I think, with Arteta, and I can't see how we can take that next step with this manager. But, you know, he might prove me wrong. Hopefully next season he'll prove me wrong and we'll win a trophy or two. But I can't see it right now how that's going to happen, because I can't see anything changing.
Well, David asks a question there. Could it be Arteta's last final home game, or do you owners lack ambition to push the sack button another season with no trophy?
I mean, I personally, for me, I hope it is his last home game. But I know it won't be, because the board are quite happy that we're in the Champions League again. We get
That's
the money.
what I was thinking as well, yeah.
Yeah. They're not gonna sack Mikel Arteta. Well, they didn't with Arsene Wenger, to be fair. All the seasons Arsene Wenger got us in the Champions League, he was never ever going to be sacked. And he failed to get us in the Champions League 2 seasons in a row, and he went. And that's what it's going to take. It will take that to happen. If we keep coming in the top 4 or maybe the top 5, if that's still the way it works, and if we're still doing okay, getting quarterfinals, semi-finals, Champions League, it's fine. The owners are happy with that, because they've got no ambition to win trophies. That's not important. What's important is, you know, obviously the money coming in, the Champions League, the prestige of being in competitions like that, and that's all that matters to them. Us fans, or not all of us fans, but a lot of us fans, you know yourself, you've seen Newcastle win a trophy for the first time in 70 years, a domestic trophy. And that's what fans remember. You remember those days. You don't remember coming second. You don't remember getting to a semi-final. You don't remember finishing top 4 and playing in the Champions League for 20 years in a row. You forget all of that. What you remember is the cup finals, the days out, winning titles, winning trophies. That's what you remember. And that's what we want as fans, but the owners aren't bothered about that, because they don't care about the club in the same way that we do, because they look on it as a business, and you can understand why. But I want owners to come in that actually want to take the club to win trophies again and be the best team, the best club that we can be. And I don't think we're doing that. I don't think we've got the ambition to do that. And that's what's so frustrating, watching it unfold and watching people be happy that we're finishing second or we're getting knocked out of semi-finals. Oh, well, that's progress. Well, it's not. We got knocked out. For me, if you get knocked out of a quarter-final one season, you get knocked out of a semi-final the next season, that's not really progress. You've got one round further. That's like getting to the 4th round of the FA Cup having got knocked out of the 3rd round the season before. You know what I mean? It's not. Yeah, only progress is getting to a final. Obviously, then winning it, but at least getting to a final first. Mikel Arteta hasn't got to a final since his first half of the season, the COVID season, when we know that was all kind of strange stuff anyway at that time. So I don't know. For me, he's not done enough. He's took us so far. He can't get us any further. We've stagnated, I think, this season. And I personally, I hope it is his last home game, but I know that it won't be. And I can't see a time when he's going to go, because I can't see them getting rid of him. Not until we start dropping out the top 4, which I can't see happening, because we've got a team good enough to be in the top 4 for the next 4 or 5 years, probably.
I can see where you're coming from. Yeah, that sounds like that's what your owners are happy with. That just get back in the Champions League and just finishing there.
Yeah,
without winning a trophy. We have the cheating ref footballers. I've not checked who the officials are for this.
Oh, is it? Oh, lovely.
Well,
they're all as bad as each other.
Not as bad as each other. I can't pick any top referee in this Premier League at all. Nobody. Cole, good evening. It was accidental, Lee. It was accidentally timed you out, so. And he sends his apologies for that as well. Well, Chip was asking, would Arsenal do better with Howard's manager? But
I must admit, what I like Eddie Howe. I think he comes across really well in his interviews. Win or lose, he's very fair. I think Mikel Arteta seems to be, I don't know, deluded, saying we were the best team in the Champions League, for example. Eddie Howe is very calm. He's a great. He improves the players. Look at the players he's improved since he's took over. You know, he's got Newcastle from being yes, a bit of money's been invested as well, but he's took Newcastle from being relegation candidates into the Champions League, won a trophy, and probably getting into the Champions League again. I mean, he's done a fantastic job. And, you know, would he do a better job at Arsenal than Arteta? I don't know. He's won more trophies in the last 3 or 4 seasons. So why not? He's got in the Champions League as many times. Well, assuming Newcastle get in the Champions League this season, which I'm pretty sure they will, he's done as good a job there as well. So I don't know. I don't know. You have to say if Newcastle win on Sunday and finish second, obviously he's a better manager, isn't he?
Well, yeah, but you said you've watched a lot of us this season. Where do you think we've been so good from this season with the squad we've got? Because we didn't really spend a lot in the summer window, to be honest.
No, I mean, I must admit, at the start of the season, I kind of looked at Newcastle and thought, are you looking to progress forward from the last couple of seasons? I wasn't sure that you was able to. And obviously, I think maybe not being in the Champions League this season's helped to a certain degree. The extra...
Yeah, I think it has.
I think that's helped.
Already, and with FFP and PSR rules, we were a bit square bare thin. Yeah,
but I mean, what Eddie Howe's done is he doesn't make a lot of changes to the starting 11 either, a bit like Mikel Arteta, but Newcastle haven't had the same options really. They don't have the luxury of rotating the squad every week because you don't have the players to be able to do that. And, he seems to have got the best out of what he's got. And that's all you can, as a manager, that is all you can do. You can't necessarily, you're not always going to have the best team. You're not always going to have the most money to spend and stuff like that. You're not going to be Man City. But what you've got to try and do is get the best out of what you've got. And that's what Eddie Howe's done this season. Look at, for example, Jacob Murphy, the form he's been in. I don't think anybody thought Jacob Murphy was capable of being a regular in a Premier League team that was in the sort of challenging in the top four, winning trophies. No one thought that was possible. And, that's down to good coaching and good man management of him. It's not just him, but he's the example because, a couple of years ago, no one thought Jacob Murphy had a future in the Premier League. He was hardly playing. So, he was a squad player. Now he's a first team regular. And I don't know. I think Eddie Howe's done remarkably well with what he's had to work with. Absolutely. He's done brilliant. And that's all you can ask for your manager, really, isn't it? I mean, if Newcastle do finish second and have won the cup, then that is an amazing season. And he deserves to be in the running for manager of the season if that was the case. Definitely.
Yeah. Wacky says that stupid style of passing out from the back and doing 600 passes to get 15 yards up the pitch has cost Arsenal dearly.
Yeah, I mean, I can't understand the obsession with playing it out. It's not just Arsenal that do it. Everybody seems to do it now. You've got teams like Southampton that are doing it. Unless you've got the players to be able to do it consistently, game after game after game, it's not even worth doing it because the risk is too great. I mean, the semi-final against you guys was the second goal on the night when Anthony Gordon scored. A goalkeeper played a terrible ball out on the edge of the box to, I think it was Thomas Partey, whoever it was, and Anthony Gordon's nipped in and scored. And we've done that a lot. And it's not just us. You see it happening week after week in the Premier League. I don't know what the obsession with that is. If there's any doubt at all, get the ball in the other half of the pitch because you're not going to concede a goal if the ball's there. If you pass the ball in just outside your penalty area, if you lose the ball, you're in trouble, and it happens too many times. I can't understand why Pep's got a lot to answer for. I think because it's not just him, but he seemed to bring it into the Premier League since he's come into the Premier League. Everybody's doing it. He's not even in the Premier League. You watch Championship, League One, League Two, even like non-league football. They're playing it out from the back. It's like, what is going on? Honestly, it's I like to see nice football, and I don't just want to see long hoof balls all the time, like Wimbledon from the 1980s. But you've got to look at it and think, what benefit is there most of the time to play it out from the back? I can't understand the obsession with it, and we do it more than most teams because that's the Arteta Pep style, isn't it? And that's what he wants to do. And I just don't think it's too risky. And you're right, it's cost us a lot of goals this season, and it's cost us points in the Premier League, and it's cost us cup games as well. So it's ridiculous. You need a balance. I'm not saying never do it, but don't do it all the time, or don't do it so often. Do it once in a while, and you know it does create space in behind, and that's why teams do it. We know that, but what I'm saying is you can't do it all the time or as often as we keep doing it because it's gonna cost you goals, and you're never gonna get anywhere. We can't all have the players Man City have got that can maybe get away with it more often than they don't. No one else can do it, so don't try. Just don't do it.
No, that's it. Good evening, Martin. Julie, good evening. Probably a question for you, Rich. Why didn't Arteta bring in a striker in January?
I mean, why hasn't he brought in a striker in 5 years is more the question. the only striker he's bought really is Gabriel Jesus as a striker, and he's not really an out-and-out number 9. He's more of a
he isn't.
second
He doesn't
striker,
score a
isn't
lot
he?
of goals for me. I
No,
think he's got good work rate, but he's not a goal scorer.
No, he's not. He's not a number 9, if you like, and he's never bought one. And I think my feeling is, and it's only my own personal feeling. I think that Mikel Arteta has got an issue with players with a little bit of an ego, and strikers have an ego. They have to, or they won't be a top striker. If you don't have a bit of an ego, you're never going to survive as a top striker. And I don't think Mikel Arteta can deal with that. He couldn't deal with Aubameyang. He hasn't really been able to deal with many players that have had any sort of ego, if you like. And I think that the problems he had with Aubameyang is maybe he doesn't want to buy a player like that. And unfortunately, if you want a striker that's going to score you 25, 30 goals a season, you're going to have a little bit of Aubameyang in there, his character, because that's what you need. All the best strikers have got that, haven't they? And my personal feeling is, I think the club maybe didn't necessarily give the funds in January to buy the striker that we needed. But I don't even think Mikel Arteta wants to. I think the striker that we might buy, it was going to be a certain type of character. It'll either be someone he's worked with before, like Gabriel Jesus was, or it will be a striker that is maybe someone younger who hasn't quite got those ego issues. He's not going to buy the real deal. He's not going to buy. He won't buy. I mean, you probably won't buy Alexander Isak, even if we could get him, because he's the real deal. And he doesn't. I don't think he wants that. He'll end up buying a 19, 20-year-old striker that he can mould in the shape that he wants and get him to do the job that he wants a striker to do, which is drop very deep, maybe go wide, cover for your left back and stuff like this. And that's the sort of player he wants. He doesn't want a striker who's going to be a penalty box striker. He won't buy one. He definitely won't buy. That's not what he wants. I think our new director of football probably does want that. The fans want that. But I just can't see Arteta buying a player like that and playing him because it doesn't fit his style. It doesn't fit his style at all.
Well. David says, Rich, you must be rooting for Man United next week in the final. Surely Aj can't look a trophy whilst finishing 17th. They are disgrace. I don't know how both of them are in a final of a competition because they've both been absolutely garbage this season.
In the Premier League, they have. I mean, I kind of think Big Ange is quite funny, actually. I like his interviews. He makes me laugh. And he's right what he said, though. And the fact is that after sort of February time, when the Europa League started building up the knockout stage, and Tottenham, they were safe from relegation. They was never going to get in Europe through the league. They threw, and same with Man United, they've thrown all their eggs into the Europa League. And he's right. Had they been knocked out of Europe, their league results would have improved. They'd have probably finished 11th, 12th, 9th, somewhere like that. Same with Man United. But they've thrown everything at the Europa League, both of them. And they've done the job. They've got to the final, and one of them's going to win it and be in the Champions League. And what a prize that is! And it was worth throwing all them league games to be with a chance of getting in the Champions League next season, because that's the prize everybody wants. And if you can't do it, your league seasons, the first half of the league season was terrible for both of them. You've got to try and get in. We did it a few years ago. We got to Europa League final. Could have been in the Champions League. We didn't qualify through the league. We lost the final, and that was that. But it's understandable to do that, and I actually don't mind either of those two teams being in the Europa League final. I think it's good for the Premier League. I can totally understand why that's happened. There's no way they'd have finished in the positions that they're in if they didn't have the Europa League to go for. They'd have finished higher, definitely. 100% they would have. They wouldn't have finished in the top 5 or 6. They would have finished probably the table, which isn't good enough. But yeah.
That's it, absolutely. Well, Mason's just arrived now. Mason, news from Luke Edwards, possibly Botman out again.
Yeah, I had a little glimpse when I was at work when I seen that. I thought you're kidding on you, but apparently, I don't know if it's true, but Craig Hope said something exactly.
Yeah, Craig Hope apparently said he could still be okay. That's
what I seen. I mean, if it's true or not. The fact is, how the hell did he get this injury? What he's got? Because he was completely fine against Chelsea.
I think was it a tactical, or apparently he had to have an ice pack on at half time because he was probably feeling it a little bit. But I think, did Eddie not say it was more of a tactical change for taking Botman off?
I thought it was just because obviously he's coming back from a long-term injury and he was going to build his strength up for the start of pre-season. But it was still not. It'd be a shame if he does miss his last 2 games this season.
Chris, which story do you believe? Do you believe Luke Edwards is not everyone's cup
Nah,
of tea?
that's
Craig Hope,
you
he's
know
not
what?
everyone's cup of tea as well, but I would say you probably look more. Craig Hope's a bit more reliable.
You know what it
Even
is.
Paul was saying on TDR on his preview.
You know what it is. I'm in the middle.
It's a tough one. I mean, if Botman is out, Mason, do we still go 5 at the back, or do we go back to a 4-3-3?
The fact is, I've got a point to make. Will Lascelles be fully fit?
Do you put Jamal Lascelles in? I mean, he did play at a under-21s game behind closed doors, so he's probably had a little bit of minutes into him. But is it enough for him to guarantee to come back in? But although Botman came straight back in against Spurs, he came back straight at the start lineup after being so long without injured.
No, but the fact is, will you want to risk putting Botman? Would you want to risk Botman when you've got like 2 games left? Me personally, no. If you want to do something, if you just want to put it normal, just put Botman and share back for the rest of the season, 4 at the back. That's what
I'm worried if we go 4 at the back because I can't see Joe Linton coming back. I think Willock's still maybe out. Could you throw Miley in there against possibly Odegaard, Partey? I mean, Rich is... what's the latest on Rice? Because he missed the last game last week, didn't he?
Yeah, he did, yeah. I mean, apparently it's not serious, but there's no news as to whether I think he'll probably play on Sunday, personally. But we'll see. I mean, if he doesn't, that's a big loss because he's probably been our best player this season. You know, he's pretty much our only top player that hasn't actually been injured at any point, really. He's had a couple of games when he was suspended, when he got sent off and stuff, but and obviously he missed the Liverpool game, but it's not apparently serious. So I think he'll be involved on Sunday personally, and I hope he is because we've got more chance of getting a result if he's in the team. But if not, then I don't know what we'll do. We'll probably try and shuffle it like we did. We'll probably put Marino back in midfield like we did against Liverpool, probably. But it'd be a big miss, Declan Rice, definitely.
I mean, yeah. In my opinion, it's not Pep's fault if managers want to copy him. They need to play the way they're playing. Yep, absolutely. Arteta was Pep's number 2 with City for a number of years now. That's where he's learned from.
Yeah, absolutely. It is, yeah. But that doesn't mean he can't change and, adapt and try something different as well. And I don't know. That's what I want to see from him. A little bit more, I can guarantee. And we know that Eddie Howe knows how Mikel Arteta plays because every time we play, he is suspended. Actually, you're right. Yeah, I forgot about it. He got sent off, didn't he? So he will be suspended. Yeah. So if Declan Rice is out, we've got a few issues there. Yeah, we've definitely got a few issues there. But yeah, I mean, Mikel Arteta plays the same way. So Eddie Howe knows how we're going to play. Everybody knows how we're going to play on Sunday. Whether players are fit or not, we're going to play exactly the same style that we always play. And Eddie Howe knows how to counter that because he's done it several times in the last couple of seasons. So if Mikel Arteta doesn't adapt and try something a little bit different on Sunday, we're going to probably end up with a very similar game to it usually. I know your record at the Emirates isn't great in the league.
In the league? We haven't won in the league since 2010.
Yeah, that's right.
And that was when Carroll scored.
Yeah, that's right.
But we have a very poor record at the Emirates. It's normally been defeat after that, I'm sure.
Yeah,
in the league, one draw in 2022. But other than that, it's been defeats after that.
Yeah, so I mean that's one thing in our favour, I suppose, in that point of view. But we've lost. Is it 4 of the last 5 games without scoring against you guys? Yes, most of them were at St James's Park, but even so, tactically, Eddie Howe's got it spot on every time we play against you guys in the last couple of seasons. Eddie Howe's got it spot on and generally gets a result. And I can't see anything being that much different. The only, you could say that the Carabao Cup game at the Emirates, we had a lot of chances we missed. You took your chances and won. And would that happen again? If that game was played another 5 times, we'd probably win 3 of them. There's probably a draw and you win that one. And if the game goes like that Sunday, we'll probably win. But when you look at all the other times, when we played at St James's Park, for example, we haven't laid a glove on you. The last 3 or 4 times we played you there. And I don't know, it's worrying. Everyone's made a big thing of Arsenal. We haven't lost to the so-called Big Six for like 4 years or whatever it is, right? Which is fair enough, but we keep losing to Newcastle. We keep dropping points against Aston Villa. We've lost twice to Bournemouth this season. We always drop points against Fulham. So while we're picking up points against Liverpool and Man City and all them teams, Man United, we're dropping points against teams we always used to beat. So it's made no difference. That's why we're not winning the league, because you need to get results against the top teams. Yeah. But you can't be dropping points against the teams we drop points against. No. You just can't do it.
No, so, that's it.
It seems certain managers have got Mikel Arteta's number. They know how to play against him, and constantly they get results. And Eddie Howe's one of those managers, and this game on Sunday is going to be a real big test for Arsenal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Also, set pieces are good. I've been impressed with also set pieces this season, because you've scored a canny few from set pieces as well.
Yeah, like it says at the first half of the season, yes. Recently not so many. I know those free kicks Declan Rice scored against Real Madrid were something special, but from corners and free kicks. Yeah, I mean, we haven't scored many from set pieces in the last probably 10 or 15 games. We got loads at the start of the season. In fact, there was a time when every corner basically was like a penalty for us. We just seemed to score every time. And that's kind of changed a little bit. Have teams sussed us out a little bit? Are they defending a bit better against us now? Obviously, we're missing Gabriel, who was getting on the end of quite a lot of them in more recent games. But yeah, I mean, our set pieces have been pretty good. Attacking, defensively, not so good. Certainly, again, in the last 10 games or so, we've conceded a few from set pieces as well. And you guys are good from set pieces as well, aren't you? You scored a lot of set piece goals. So
we've had a few, but we've had a lot of stinking set pieces this season as well, Rich, to be fair. We've had quite a lot of shocking set pieces as well. Darren says to you, Rich, do you think it'll be harder for us to win the Premier League because of the competition from Newcastle and also Villa as well?
Well, we haven't managed to win the Premier League so far when we've had to battle against pretty much just Man City and this season Liverpool. And it seems like there are a lot of good teams up there. And I can see, you mentioned Newcastle and Aston Villa, and over the next 2 or 3 years, they're going to be up there fighting for it, aren't they? And, hopefully we can be in there fighting as well. But it's never easy to win the Premier League title. It's never easy. And, whatever people say about, Man City throwing all the money at it, They won it 4 seasons in a row. No one's ever done that before, ever.
Exactly.
It's a hell of an achievement. And people say about all the charges they've got against them, all this and the other. It doesn't really matter too much. To win a league title is hard. To win it 4 times in a row is just incredible. So I've got nothing but respect for what Man City have done. However they've gone about it, I don't agree with the way they've built the team and stuff like that. But ultimately, you still got to go out there on the pitch every week for 4 seasons. And do what they've done, and that is incredible. And I just want Arsenal to do that once. It'll do me. Do it once. You don't have to do it 4 times. Just once will do.
Good evening, Joe. Hope you keep well. Hit those likes, says David. Yeah, please do hit the likes if you are joining the show as well. It's really important to us. We get those search results. Good evening to Billy. Hope you're keeping well. Bogey says, do you think Spurs have had a better season than Arsenal if they win the Cup and qualify for the Champions League?
I mean, that's been a question that's been asked a few times in the last couple of weeks. I mean, I would say, from my point of view, I would say yes, because the end result's the same. We'll both be in the Champions League next season, but they've done it by winning a trophy, and we've done it by coming 2nd or 3rd or 4th wherever we finish. So, of course, they've had a better season. And people might be laughing and think, well, look where they are in the league. But they've won a cup, and they'll be in the Champions League. So the result's the same, and they've done it by winning a trophy. So I would say, yes, that would be a better season. But they're not going to win it, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, absolutely. Lawrence says he'd rather listen to Hope than Edwards. Ruffy says he go 5 at the back with Joe Linton still missing. Lascelles has missed so much football, surely can't throw him in at the Emirates. Again, yeah. Kraft should start over Lascelles. He's never let us down so underrated. That's a good option, Mason. If Botman does miss out, you can play Kraft in the 3 centre-backs.
Oh, Chipper, shut up. you can give how long Kraft needs to be on the bench, and then you can give like Lascelles a lot from 60 minutes onwards. I would have given them probably give Lascelles the first 45 minutes, but if this game's like vital, then I would change it and put Kraft in there. I would have started Lascelles just for minutes, but if we need Kraft in, then I'll probably have to do that.
Absolutely. Good evening, Clarky. Hope you're well. Andrew, hope you're keeping well as well. Rich, do you think if we score first, then the crowd become hostile towards the players and Arteta?
I don't necessarily think hostile. I just think it will be quiet.
Some are still willing to give Arteta a chance still.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, if Newcastle score first, then it's going to affect the atmosphere in the ground. Of course it will. Every time an away team comes to Emirates and scores a goal, it has that same effect. But I don't. The fans aren't quite ready to turn quite yet. I don't think. I mean, if we lose maybe badly on Sunday, at the end of the game, you might see a reaction. But I don't think it will be necessarily during the game. It will just affect the atmosphere. It will be a bit quieter, and stuff like that. And the Arsenal crowd's always been a little bit like that. If things are going well, the atmosphere is pretty good generally. If it's not going too well, the atmosphere is pretty flat. And, that's probably what will happen on Sunday, depending on how the game goes. But I don't think the fans will necessarily turn. I say, unless we get maybe beaten badly and, at the end of the game, we might get a reaction. But I don't think enough Arsenal fans have, for some reason, I can't understand it myself, they seem happy with the situation. They seem happy coming second or third. They seem happy getting to semi-finals. They seem happy never winning anything. And to me, I don't think we're Arsenal. You can't expect to win anything because football's not like that. But you've got to have the ambition for the club to want to win trophies. I mean, I've seen at close hand Newcastle what it's done winning that cup this season. And Arsenal should be looking to do that. And we shouldn't accept not doing that. And if we're not doing that regularly, like we have, we need to look at how we can change that. And if it means changing the manager, change the manager. The club's more important than one person. Get another manager. I don't care. I don't care who the manager is. If they win trophies and make the club better, then that's great. If they don't, we'll let someone else try it. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. They're only one person. The club overall is more important, and let's get it right.
But I'll ask you as well, Rich. What do you make of some comments we've had from journalists, some other fans from other clubs, just absolutely mocking our Carabao Cup celebration? Surely, if that was their club that won a trophy, they'd be doing the same thing.
I mean, I personally can't understand why anybody would mock a team for celebrating winning a trophy. That's what football's about. That's what you start the season, and your aim at any club has got to be to, well, maybe Southampton is to stay in the Premier League, but in any of the sort of bigger clubs, the ambition's got to be to win a trophy in the season. If you win a trophy, you've achieved at least something you set out to achieve. You can't over celebrate winning. It's impossible. You can't, people have criticised Arsenal for celebrating certain victories and stuff like that. You can't over-celebrate anything. If anything, you can under-celebrate because you're not appreciating it enough. The Carabao Cup was the first trophy Pep won in England. It's the first trophy Jose Mourinho won in England. Mm-hmm. And it was the first trophy George Graham won for Arsenal back in the day that started off as on a run of success. So, if the Carabao Cup's the only thing Newcastle win again for the next 10 years, that's the only thing that you've won, then I don't think that's necessarily, good enough. But if it's the start of something better, which it looks like it could well be, why not celebrate it? Christ, it's been long enough, hasn't it? You've got to enjoy these things because they don't come around every day.
Well, absolutely, Rich.
Peter, can't quickly come in. I've grown up in Ashley era, and when this takeover came up, I had a bit of hope. And once we beat Liverpool in that Carabao Cup final, I literally just sat on that seat. I literally broke down after that.
Well, that was me as well.
I thought I would never see Newcastle win a trophy till that Liverpool game.
Yeah.
Same as well.
Yeah. That's what. How can anybody say that's not important? It doesn't. I mean, of course it is. It's important to the club. It's important to the fans. Any successes, and I don't know. I think what Newcastle. I think Newcastle celebrated that as much as you should celebrate anything. And if they win something bigger next season, they're going to celebrate even more. And why not?
That's it, Rich. Absolutely, Rich. Absolutely. Well, Lee's going to ask you because we know what our thoughts are on the bloke. He's asking what you think of Ty because us fans have had a right go at him as well. And he's just he's like, we've had so much rubbish say we're a nothing club and all of that. I mean, Rich, what do you think, Rich?
I mean, to be honest with you, there's a lot of people on AFTV that don't really represent Arsenal. Not really. I mean, yeah, they're Arsenal fans. I mean, Ty's been an Arsenal fan for a long, long time, his whole life, and he goes to the youth games. He's an Arsenal fan, but he does talk a lot of nonsense. Let's be honest. And I don't think anybody should take much of what he says too seriously. Really, it's entertaining. I suppose people make fun of him and all this, that, and the other. He creates problems and he gets people to watch AFTV, and that's great. But just that my advice would be, most people on AFTV, don't take them seriously what they say. They're in it just for the clicks. They're in it for the money. They don't want to talk sense. They don't want people to agree with them. They want to create some confrontation, and I don't think Ty necessarily purposely does it. I just think that, he gets pushed along into that way. And he's harmless enough, really. He's quite amusing. But just don't take him seriously because he talks nonsense.
Yeah, he can do. That's it. So
yeah, exactly.
That's it. Well, we'll run through what we think the particular lineup. I mean, Rich, what do you think Arteta's starting 11 is going to be for Sunday?
Well, he tends not to make changes unless he has to. Obviously, Marino being suspended, so he's going to be out, isn't he? There's doubts about Declan Rice. The defence and the goalkeeper will be the same. It'll be David Raya and then be Miles Lewis-Skelly at left back. Timber's had a bit of an injury, so probably Ben White will start at right back, and then it'll be obviously Kirior and Saliba at the centre backs, I would imagine. And then the midfield's going to be interesting because obviously if Rice is out and Marino's out, it's like there's a little bit of a problem there. Maybe Zinchenko could come in and play that role in midfield. Jorginho apparently is fit again. He might come in potentially. It could be one of his last games because he's meant to be leaving as well.
Yeah, I heard he's supposed to be leaving as well. Yeah,
Odegaard will obviously play, and then the front three, obviously Saka, Martinelli might have an injury, so maybe he might be out. So that's another problem there. Maybe Waneri will play then, if that's the case, or maybe Raheem Sterling. I mean, he's been sitting on the bench not doing much. Maybe he might get a game. And then obviously the number 9 will probably, it will be the number 9 if Marino can't play. That's another problem. Martinelli's out. He could have maybe played that role. So we've got a few issues, actually. We have got a few issues in terms of, numbers in the team. So I don't know, actually. I don't know who's going to play up front. That's as the centre forward. Can't we borrow that? That'd be all right.
I thought you would say that, Rich. Yeah, Mason, you were going to ask a question.
Right, I want to get Rich's thoughts on the left back. Who would you rather have, Lewis Hall or Lewis-Skelly?
I mean, that's a good question because I think Lewis Hall's done really well, actually, and I think he's good. And I think Miles Lewis-Skelly's had an amazing season coming from, no one really heard of him to suddenly being thrust into the team at 18, and he's done well. But Miles Lewis-Skelly is a midfield player, naturally. That's where he grew up playing. He played in the youth team in midfield, and he's come in and done a good job at left back.
Yep.
The way Arsenal's left backs play is they're always inverting going into midfield. So that suits Lewis-Skelly because he's used to playing there. It suited Zinchenko because he's more of a midfield player. Whereas I think Lewis Hall's more of an actual proper fullback. We've got Kieran Tierney, who's a proper left back, doesn't get in the team because he can't invert. And I think in Arsenal's style, Lewis-Skelly suits better. Overall, I would rather see a proper left back who's going to play left back.
Yeah.
But I mean, in our system, Miles Lewis-Skelly, I would say is the better player in our system. But going overall, it's difficult to say. I think because
I think they're both two good players.
They're different in the way they play as well, aren't they? They're very different, but they're both good young players, and obviously it's good for England because it's going to be more options for England, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Andrew says if you don't enjoy the celebration, you lose the desire to win. The fact that a lot of people's mum and dads, brothers and sisters never got to see what we got to see that day, and people mock us for just shows how fickle a lot of Premier League fans are. Yeah. Colton, good evening. It's the same with Rory Jennings. I can't stand that man. Choppy, good evening. Andrew says, could we play you every week? Lewis Hall was some same midfielder converted to left back he was. So
was he? Okay. Well, there you go.
Yeah, okay. So, there you go. Right, we'll run through ours, Mason. So it's an easy one in goal.
Pope.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Pope. It's obviously going to be Pope in goal, obviously. Right, I think it should be a back five again. So we'll go with the centre-backs first. I will say possibly Botman could miss for Sunday. So if that's the case, I'll play right centre-back Emil Kraft. The next one, it's centre-back Mason.
I was going to say Shaw.
Yeah, I think Fabian Schär will still come in as well. And, of course, the last of the three centre-backs, of course, will be Dan Burn as well, who's had an absolutely terrific season for us as well. So we'll go with those three. It's centre-back if Botman does miss out. So we'll go next with the wing-backs. So on the right, in the right wing-back position, Mason.
Murphy.
Yeah, I think it'll definitely be Murphy there as well. And, of course, on the other side, it's going to be Tino Livramento. I think he's done a very good job on that left side as well. Tino as well. I think I have a feeling Lascelles gets in a 5. Ooh. Again, does he come straight in? That's the thing, Andrew. Tierney's going back home where he belongs, Rich. It looks like he's going back to Celtic, is he?
I think so. Well, yeah, potentially, yeah. I'm to be honest with you, I love Kieran Tierney. Yeah,
he's just been crocked with injuries, unfortunately.
Yeah, and he's out of favour. I like him. He deserves to be playing more football. So yeah, if he can go back to Celtic and play every week, then fair play to him. Good luck. I wish him the best. He's a good player. I like him.
Yeah, that's it. So that's it. Right, the midfield too, Mason. First one.
Bruno.
Yes, we will go with the captain Bruno, and of course will be the last one. Of course will be Sandro Tonali. I'm going to ask you, Rich, what you've made of Sandro Tonali this season.
I mean, he's a very good player. There's no question about it. I mean, he's one of the best midfield players in the Premier League, I think. And yeah, I mean, he's made such a big difference to Newcastle, hasn't he? I think your midfield this season, obviously, when Joe Linton was playing, when he was fit, Bruno and Tonali, that's one of the best midfields in the league, isn't it? I think the three of them together, and that's been one of your strengths this season, actually. And yeah, Tonali is a great player. I know he scored that goal that he didn't mean the other week, but he's a great player. And yeah, I would say he's definitely one of the best. Yeah, one of the best in the Premier League, definitely. I think in Rodri, Declan Rice, probably the top three.
Good position. Number 6 players who play those number 6 roles. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Okay, right. So we've got the attacking 3 now. First one, Mason.
Gordon, yeah. Gordon.
I think Gordon's going to play on the left. I think Gordon's going to have to up his game because he looked a little bit rusty still for me. He got beaten off the ball a fairly few times, but hopefully we can get Gordon back to his best, obviously, as well. And I believe on the right will be Harvey Barnes. And the last one, Mason, up front. Isak, yeah, it's going to be Isak, obviously. I'm hoping Isak is going to step up his game because he's been a little bit off his game. I mean, he wasn't at it on Sunday for me. He wasn't at it for Brighton, even though he scored the penalty. The same with Ipswich as well. He's just been a little bit off it. I'm still on the debate. Is he carrying an injury still? You were said, Mason, you saw something to say that Isak could be getting an operation in the summer.
Yeah, I mean, if it's true, then hopefully he'll get sorted by for next season.
Yeah, if he is carrying this groin injury, he gets a Tino immediately after the season's done, and then he can rest up a little bit and be ready for pre-season as well. So,
pre-season before he comes to Arsenal, you mean?
I knew you'd say that, Rich. No one's done a quadruple on Arsenal yet, you were saying there, Rich.
Well, not that I can remember. I mean, I don't know. I can't, even when Man United were, when we were up against them, I can't remember them beating us 4 times in one season before. Liverpool in the day, I can't remember them doing it. So I'm going to say it's never happened before. But it might have done at some point. But it's unusual to play the same team 4 times, isn't it? It doesn't normally happen. Unless, I suppose, you've got two legs of a semi-final. And generally, when that's happened, we don't usually lose both legs of a semi-final when we play teams. Even if we've lost, we generally draw one of the legs or win one and lose the other one. So I don't think it's ever happened. I don't think we ever lost 4 times in one season to the same team. So, it could be a record that we don't want, but it could be a record. Wow,
absolutely. What does everyone think of the new proposed badge? Absolutely hideous. Looks like it's been designed in a school. No, hopefully that it's not going to be that.
We had a change of badge 25 years ago, and at the time nobody really liked it, but I don't really like it now, but you just get used to it, don't you? It's what it is, and
well, that's it.
It's never. I mean, I suppose football has to change and things move on, but I don't know. I like Arsenal's old badge better. Why? What difference does it make changing your badge? I don't understand what the point is, other than marketing, I suppose. But
I'm not
everybody
sure.
Everybody knows Newcastle's badge. Everyone knows it throughout the world. Why change it? It just seems ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely, Rich. I can totally see where you come from. Absolutely. When we're to. Lawrence says he won't be throwing the cells back into the starting 11. Maybe give him some minutes if a good amount of goals ahead. And either, I think that's a good point there, Lawrence, as well. Totally. Good evening, Jay. Hope you're keeping well. Isak for me, last 3 or 4 games is carrying an injury, says Ruffeed. As well. Nah, I don't think that's going to happen, Lee. I don't think Saka's going to come to us. If Arsenal think that they're not getting Isak, they'll think, well, we've got no chance of selling in there. Saka to Newcastle.
Would you take the swap, Isak for Saka? Would you do that?
He is a cracking player, Saka to be. That's definitely a danger man I see for Arsenal. Because I think look how he come from the academy, and when he's on his game. He is really on his game, Rich.
Oh, he's brilliant. He's a brilliant player. And what I like about Saka more than anything, apart from the fact that he's a brilliant player, is how down to earth he is. When you hear his interviews and stuff, he's not. He hasn't got a big ego. He's not full of himself. He's very grounded, and that's why he's done so well. And that's why when he's had disappointments, missing those big penalties and stuff that he's had in his career, he can bounce back because. That's just the way he is. He's such a lovely guy. And it's quite rare, really, in modern football, isn't it, for a player that's that good and is at the top of his game to actually be that nicer guy as well. I think he's unusual. And he's a special talent. He's a special person. And, obviously, I want Bukayo Saka to stay at Arsenal for all of his career. Whether that'll happen or not, might well decide. If we start winning trophies, he's going to be happy. But if we don't, all our top players are going to start questioning it, aren't they? They see Newcastle winning cups, they see Man United winning cups, Man City, Liverpool. They're going to think, hang on a minute, why can't we have some of that? So Arsenal need to step up and get trophies to keep him, but I don't think he'll go anywhere for the time being. I think next few years he's safe.
People say when there was a comment there. Where is it? He says he's a Toon fan. Well, it's actually his dad is apparently a Newcastle fan. I don't think Saka himself is. It's his dad.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really think that plays much of a part anyway, really, does it?
No, it doesn't really.
I think when young footballers, nowadays they all start in academies and stuff, they don't really get the chance to watch football in the same way that maybe we did when we were kids. You have a team that you support. You end up in an academy and that's the team that you're with. So they end up supporting that team, don't they? So I think it's a bit different nowadays. I don't really think that any young player really supports any team other than the team they've grown up with in the academy, really, because I wouldn't have had a chance to have done it. How's he going to have gone and watched Newcastle play as a kid when he'd have been training at Arsenal all the time? He'd have been in the academy playing training, so he wouldn't have had a chance to watch Newcastle, would he? All he would have done was he'd have got free tickets to watch Arsenal because he's a young player, so he'd have watched Arsenal. So of course he's going to be an Arsenal fan. Yeah, his dad may well be a Newcastle fan, but that's neither here nor there. That's not going to affect this.
No, it definitely isn't. Isak will be going under the knife, hence we can't sell that if he is going to carry this groin injury. So yeah.
Don't worry, Arsenal will fix him in the summer. Don't worry, we'll fix him when we sign him.
David, just give your channel a subscribe, Rich. So you've got to subscribe.
Appreciate that.
Obviously, really appreciate that as well. So we'll just run through our predicted lineup again. So in goal is Pope. We're going with the 3 centre backs this time. So we're going with Emil Kraft, Fabian Schär and Dan Burn. If Sven Botman doesn't make the game for Sunday, we're going as the wing backs of Jacob Murphy and Tino Livramento, the midfield two of Sandro Tonali and Bruno, and the attacking three of Harvey Barnes, Anthony Gordon, and Alexander Isak. Let us know the chat, guys. Will Eddie go with that? Do you think Botman is going to make the game on Sunday? If not, who do you think he's going to bring in instead? Or do we go with the 4-3-3? I think 5 at the back. We should be continue this throughout the rest of the season if Joe Linton doesn't come back for me, because I think we do lack that little bit of depth in midfield. Whereas if we got another one in the centre back, we've just got that bit of extra cover. Joe Willock, I mean, we don't know if he's back, but he's just really regressed for me, Joe Willock. He really has with the injuries he's picked up. Miley, I mean, he's done okay, Miley, but can he? The question is, can he do it against the likes of Rice? Possibly Partey, possibly Odegaard, players like them. I'm not saying he could do it. I just think it's got to be. I think it should be 5 at the back, with Joe Linton now injured, and it's worked really. It's really worked. We know it didn't work under a previous manager we had, but Eddie Howe's made it work very, very well. To be fair, so but Lawrence says we could go with 4-3-3 for Everton. He probably could do maybe against Everton. Well, Everton's season, they're safe. They know that they're playing in the Premier League.
It's their last ever game at Goodison Park, though, isn't it? Oh, no, you're at home, aren't you? You're at home, aren't you?
Yeah, we're told.
Their last game tomorrow, isn't it? Yeah, that's right. Sorry,
But speaking of Goodison Park, it's not going to be demolished because they're going to be keeping that for the women's team.
I mean, I think that's only going to be temporary, maybe, to see how that goes, because Everton's women team don't really have a big support yet. I mean, it might grow, who knows? But
it could do,
eventually money's going to come into it, isn't it? If developers put enough money on the table to develop Goodison Park into housing or something, then eventually that will probably happen. And it's good that they're keeping it, though, because it's an iconic ground, isn't it? And I think the women's teams deserve to be playing in grounds like that, as opposed to the sort of, I mean, wherever women's been playing is a terrible little stadium, isn't it, really, in comparison? So it's good for the women's game, and it's good that they've made that decision. How long that will be the case for, I don't know.
That's it. Miley's turned into Hulk. He's beefed up, says Cole. Well, we'll see if Miley does get any minutes. Joe thinks, I think 5 at the back, but Kraft starts for me as Murphy is a right back. Is a no-no for me. You need to proper cover Lascelles isn't a right back. Yeah, I mean, it was a bit concerning when Murphy went to right back when we switched to 4 against Chelsea last week. But Eddie corrected it. Did take Gordon off, put Kraft in, and put Murphy back into his right wing position. So that's, but yeah, it's a big game on Sunday for both of us. It's up for second place now. Let's see who's going to be taking that second place after that full-time whistle. What we're going to get in now and get them in the chat, guys, is the score predictions. Rich, what are you going for Sunday?
I mean, you can't beat us 4 times in one season. We can't allow that to happen. We just can't let that happen. I mean, regardless of the fact whether second place was on the line or not, I just don't think Arsenal can afford to lose 4 times to the same team in the same season. We can't do it. Are we good enough to win that game at the minute, the way we've been playing with the players we've got missing? I'm not sure. It's probably got a draw written all over it, actually, if I'm honest, which will probably suit us in the overall scheme of things in the league table. But yeah, I think a draw, probably 1-1, I think might be realistic.
Goal scorers, Rich?
I mean, Arsenal don't have too many attacking options. I mean, Trossard, I forgot about him, actually. Trossard will probably play, won't he? I think we'll probably score first, and it'll probably be Saka, actually, because he seems to be the one at the minute that can do something when we need it. Isak will probably score for Newcastle, let's be honest, or Gordon, because them two are always going to score against us. But it'll be one of them two, won't it? There's generally them two that score. So,
well, so what 1-1 you said, Rich, so you're going for a draw. Mason?
Yeah, I'll be happy for 1-1.
You're going 1-1 as well, a draw as well?
Yeah, I'll be happy with 1-1.
Right, I'll get mine after I've just read through these comments. Monty's going 1-1. Chippers is going 2-2. Ian's going 1-1. Ruffy's going 2-1. Cho's going 4-0 win to Newcastle. David's going 2-2. Hart says 3-0. Head says 1-1, says Julie.
Yeah.
Jay's going 4-1. Billy's going 3-0. We'll probably be happy with the draw. We will be more for it if Arsenal will be honest. Well, we'll just wait and see. Rich, would you accept a 7-0 win if that helps to get Arteta sacked?
Funnily enough, a couple of weeks ago, I actually said that, with all the teams closing in on us, they were, and I thought long term for the club's benefit to move us in a more positive frame of mind going forward. If we finished sixth and didn't win the Champions League, that might be a better result because they'd probably have to sack him and then we could start afresh with a new manager. Obviously, that's not going to happen. I don't want to lose 7-0. I mean, I don't want to lose a all.
No.
And I don't think Arteta would get sacked anyway. Even if we were to lose 7-0, which obviously we won't, but even if we did, he's not going to get sacked because we're still going to finish in Champions League position, even if we lose on Sunday, aren't we? Let's be honest. We're still probably going to, we are going to finish in the top 5. You'd imagine we'd have to lose to Southampton in the game. Everybody else would have to win all the games. Man City would have to win. I think Chelsea need to win both their games. Is it Villa would need to win both of theirs for us to drop out?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
So even if we lose, we've got the backup of knowing that we're still probably going to be okay where we are. I think if Newcastle lose, then your Champions League future it's going to come down to the last game, obviously for you guys. I think you need a result against Everton, which you should get at home, I suppose.
Yeah, you should do, but it's a big game on Sunday. So Mason, you've gone 1-1, right? I'm going to say Newcastle are going to win 3-1. I'm feeling confident for Sunday. Wow. I really am. Okay. Wow. I'm going to say I'm feeling confident. We can do it. We know the players are going to be up for it as well, possibly for both teams.
You can definitely do it. I've got no doubt you could beat us because you've beaten us plenty of times recently. Yeah. I just think your record at the Emirates isn't great, and I think
it isn't. But hopefully,
sometimes that plays a part, doesn't it? But having said that, Bournemouth have never won at the Emirates, and they still beat us. So.
They won us, yes. So I'm going to go 3-1. I'll say Saka for yous. I'll go for us. I'm going to go Tonali. I'm going to go Barnes, and I'm going to go for Isak finally to score as well. So 3-1 Newcastle. I am going for. Ronald's going for a 4-0 win with 2 from Tonali and 1 from Isak.
Wow.
Oh no, he's got Dan Burn in there as well. Michael says, nice to have you on, Rich, as well.
Thank you very much.
Craig and Shaw lads, and have a good one with Rich. Cheers, Chalky. David's going 3-2. Rich, just say 3-1. It'll break the ice, says Colin. Well, that is it. We're going to wrap up the show for tonight. Thank you so much to everyone. Of course, Mason, co-host. Those of you in the chat, thank you so much. Mods, we do appreciate what you do as well. And thank you so much, Rich, for joining us for tonight as well. Really, really appreciate that as well. We know you've got a channel as well. Where can people find you? What you got coming up as well?
Yeah, obviously it's over and over again on YouTube. We cover most of the games. We do a lot of stuff on the women's team as well.
Yeah, I heard you do a lot of stuff on the women's as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I love the women's football and stuff like that. So we do a lot of stuff on the women's team. Obviously, Champions League final coming up for the women next weekend, so that's going to be good. So that we do stuff like that as well. But yeah, obviously we do all the games for the men's team as well and stuff like that. So we try and give the coverage that we can. I like to try and think that we try and keep things. I don't get pushed along with all the hype and stuff like that. I just say what I see. If I don't like it, I don't like it, and I don't really care whether people agree with me or not. A lot of people don't like that. A lot of Arsenal fans don't want to talk to me because I don't like Arteta, and I should do apparently. But there you go.
Everyone's got an opinion. They're entitled with Rich.
Exactly, and that's what that's what YouTube's about, isn't it? Everybody should be welcome, and it doesn't matter if you agree with someone or not. I'll have anyone on my channel, whether they agree with me or not, and that's what it's about. If you have everyone that agrees with all the time, it's boring, isn't it? If everyone agrees with everybody, it'll be boring. So it's kind of quite nice, but people sometimes get a little bit defensive of it, and I understand that. We all know our club. We want the best for our club, don't we? For me, the best for our club is winning trophies, and we can't do that with this manager. So let's try someone else, and that's it. You guys have won a trophy. Let's get your manager in. He's done better than Arteta this season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So do drop Rich a subscription on over and over again. Does a great channel as well, covering, as I mentioned, is also first team, and they also do content on the women's team as well. So Drew, go and drop Rich a subscription. He does great stuff as well. We will be back tomorrow night, guys, with the you know what. The crazy show will be back tomorrow night. Get yourselves on. We'll have a blast as we always do before the weekend arrives, as we always do. Saturday will probably be a quiet one for us. Sunday it'll be the game. It'll be the live fan reaction show after the game. It'll be your opportunity to have your say on the game, whether you come on the show or in the chat. Either at all is absolutely fine at all. And the next day on the Monday, going into next week, will be our match review and player rating. So that's what we got coming out throughout the rest of the week, going into next week as well. So again, thank you so much to everyone as well. Great show, guys. Cheers, Ian. Take care, all you as well, Ian. Excellent show. Well done, chaps. Chris is going for Martinelli for Arsenal and going for us for the goals.
He might be injured, Martinelli. That's the only thing. He went off
might be doubtful.
Injury, so there's a doubt over Martinelli. But yeah, I mean, if he's playing, he could score because he's playing well at the bit.
I did rate Martinelli. I think he's a really good player as well. Please don't forget to hit the thumbs up, everyone. Cheers, Wacky. Great show. Cheers. Some of my comments are going a bit funny. Great show. Cheers, Julie. Arsenal are playing Jamie Buggers, having Alicia Russo playing for their women's team.
Yes, very, very good player. Absolutely fantastic. Delighted we got her. I'm hoping that Newcastle might get into the WSL in the next couple of years. Actually, it'd be nice.
Hopefully, we did have practice. I mean, I don't think it was all lost for the women's team just not getting promoted. For this season, I think there's still time. There's still time. I mean, we just keep building, and that's all we can do.
I think they've had a good season. They finished fifth, didn't they, in the end?
They did.
In the championship, that's a good effort. That, and like you said, building a bit more investment, get some more sort of better players in, and who knows? I reckon a couple of years they'll be in a WSL Newcastle, and they've got the backing, they've got the fans. Obviously, filling St James's Park in the way they have done. The club are backing the women's team, aren't they, as well, financially, which is good. So I can see Newcastle being not only in the WSL but actually being able to compete in the WSL in the next 3 or 4 years. Definitely, it's going to be good. It's exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. Time. I know you've done a couple of vlogs. I think you were at the Tyne-Wear Derby one as well.
Yeah, I mean it's great. I mean, women's football has grown so much since the Euros.
It has. It doesn't. To me, it doesn't get the credit it deserves at all, Rich.
It doesn't, and I find it amazing because to me, I find modern football in the men's game, in the Premier League and stuff, and the Champions League, I find it a little bit. I don't know. It's going in a direction I don't like. VAR, like we said, the passing out from the back and stuff like that, and players pretending to be injured and cheating and wasting time and all the bad stuff. And the women's football it's like men's football without all of that bad stuff in there. So what's there not to like? Okay, it's a little bit slower. Of course it is. It's not quite as physical because women and men are not as strong and as fast. That's the way it is. But if you take that out of it, just as a spectacle, women's football is fantastic, and it deserves the audience it's getting, and it deserves more people to give it the credit. You're right; it doesn't get enough credit. You get too many people, particularly people that are influential in the men's game, dismissing women's football. Give it a try, watch it, go to a game, you'll enjoy it.
Yeah, I've been.
There's nothing to stop you watching both. You know what I mean? There's nothing to stop you enjoying men's football and women's football. There's nothing wrong with that. So give it a go. You'll love it, honestly. And if Newcastle, next time Newcastle women are at St James's Park, go and watch them, and you'll enjoy it. Honestly, you will. It's fantastic.
Absolutely, absolutely, Rich. Cheers. Goodbye, everyone. Take care, you as well, Julie. Hull City have now sacked Ruben Sells. We all disagree with Jamie O'Hara. He's been getting on my nerves as well.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, absolutely.
Don't forget it. The likes on the way out helps the channel immensely. Cheers so much, Joel. Away the lads. Take care, everyone. Women's team needs a couple of seasons in the championship to build. A lot of people are saying that. Adios. So, well, again, thank you so much, everyone, and we'll see you back. Remember, guys, if you have enjoyed the show, please do remember to give us the thumbs up again. It's really important we get the likes so people know where to find us in the search results. So please do smash those likes if you have enjoyed the show tonight. Please, of course, if you're brand new to the channel, if you're not yet subscribed and your job goes on the channel week in, week out, please hit that subscribe button. Free to do so. It does help make the channel grow as well. And again, please do go over and give Rich a subscription on his channel over and over again. And please do hit that bell notification. It does let you know whenever a live show is taking place or a pre-recorded video gets uploaded as well. So please hit the bell to keep all up to date with the content that you do not want to miss at all. And again, if you want to give a donation, feel free. If you want to become a member, it's 99p. Hit the join button to become a member, and you'll be included in the prize draws we do as well. So again, there you go. Well then, guys, we'll see you all back again tomorrow night for the crazy, bonkers stuff we always do on a Friday night. Until then, everyone, we'll see you all later. Good night, all. Take care. Away the lads. See you all later, and we'll see you all again tomorrow night. Have a good one, everyone. Take care.